The human ship arrived alone. It slipped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Kelmer border system, moving slow and silent. Against the bright stars, it looked small. Almost fragile. Its hull was dark gray, scarred by age, with long flat wings that felt old even to the cameras watching it. Across the system, the alien fleet noticed it immediately. Dozens of ships turned their sensors toward the newcomer. Massive cruisers. Sharp-edged destroyers. Fast attack craft. Compared to them, the human vessel looked like a relic drifting out of place. Laughter filled the command chamber of the Kelmer flagship. The ship's commander leaned back in his chair as the scan results appeared on the main display. Weak energy readings. Outdated propulsion. Armor density far below modern standards. No visible shield bloom. A single ship, one officer said, amused. Is this humanity's idea of a joke? Another officer zoomed in on the hull plating. The design is ancient. Flat armor layers. No modern phase shielding. This thing belongs in a museum. The commander waved a claw dismissively. Humans were never a major power. This only proves it. They send scrap to face us. Across the fleet, similar reactions spread. Some pilots openly mocked the ship over shared channels. Others placed casual bets on how long it would last if firing started. The human ship said nothing. It did not change course. It did not power weapons. It simply drifted forward, engines glowing softly, steady and calm. That silence confused a few officers. Run deeper scans, the commander ordered, though his tone carried no concern. I want full analysis. Let us see how weak it truly is. The sensors pushed harder. They pierced the outer hull layers and mapped the internal structure. That was when the first problem appeared. One of the scan technicians frowned at his console. Commander, the internal layout is strange. How so? The commander asked. The systems are layered. Redundant. Very redundant. 3 backups for every main system. Some sections don't match modern engineering logic. The commander shrugged. Primitive designs often waste space. The technician nodded, but hesitated. Yes, but these redundancies are not crude. They are intentional. Before the commander could reply, another alert chimed. Energy stability is unusual, a second officer said. The power core output is low, but extremely stable. No fluctuation at all. That only means it is weak, the commander replied. Still, the laughter in the room had softened. The sensors continued their work. Then the age scan finished. For a moment, the display showed nothing. Then a number appeared. The room went quiet. The technician stared at the screen, his mandibles slowly tightening. Commander, the ship's estimated construction date. I believe the scan is wrong. Read it, the commander snapped. The technician swallowed. Approximately 1,000 Earth years old. Silence crashed over the chamber. That is impossible, an officer said quickly. Human spaceflight barely reached the stars back then. Rerun the scan, the commander ordered. The scan reran. The number did not change. A third scan confirmed it. The ship was old. Older than most known empires. Older than the Kelmer expansion wars. Older than many galactic borders. 1,000 years, and still operational. The commander leaned forward slowly, his amusement gone. Explain. The technician shook his head. The hull materials are archaic but treated. Repaired countless times. The internal systems show upgrades layered over original designs. The core, it has been replaced, but the framework remains. This ship has been flying for centuries, another officer whispered. Across the fleet, the mocking messages stopped. Some pilots pulled their ships back slightly, just enough to show caution. Others ran their own scans, hoping to disprove what they were seeing. The human ship continued forward. Calm. Patient. Silent. It crossed an invisible line in the system, entering disputed space. The commander narrowed his eyes. They send a 1,000-year-old ship alone into hostile territory, he said slowly. Why? No one answered. Because deep down, they all felt it. This was not a mistake. This was not weakness. Whatever this ship was, it had survived wars that destroyed civilizations. It had endured when newer ships became dust. And it was here now. The galaxy had laughed first. But somewhere, deep in the old human ship, systems quietly waited. The alien fleet adjusted its formation. What had been loose and confident now became careful. Ships increased distance. Weapon systems warmed up quietly. No one laughed anymore. The human ship kept moving forward. It did not speed up. It did not slow down. It moved like it had all the time in the universe. Human vessel, the Kelmer commander transmitted, his voice cold and sharp. You are entering restricted space. Power down and prepare to be boarded. There was no reply. Only the soft glow of the ancient engines answered. The commander clicked his claws together in irritation. They think silence makes them brave. He turned to his weapons officer. Fire a warning shot. Low power. Across the bow. A single Kelmer cruiser shifted position. Its main cannon charged, energy building like a rising storm. The shot fired, a clean, bright beam cutting through space. It struck the human ship. Directly. The bridge erupted in sudden noise. Impact confirmed, an officer shouted. But there was no explosion. No tearing metal. No drifting debris. The beam hit the hull, and vanished. The human ship barely moved. Sensors flickered wildly. Energy readings spiked, then settled. The hull surface glowed faintly for a second, then cooled as if nothing had happened. That should have cut it in half, someone whispered. Scan the armor, the commander ordered sharply. The sensors focused again, pushing deeper. The hull layers had shifted. Not broken. Shifted. The armor had absorbed the energy and redistributed it across the entire ship. Old plates slid microscopically, spreading force through thick internal frameworks. It adapted, the technician said slowly. The armor, it changed shape during impact. The commander's eyes narrowed. That is not modern tech. No, the technician replied. It's older. Simpler. But, incredibly tough. Another officer leaned forward. Commander, I'm seeing something else. Damage logs show this ship has taken hits like that before. Many times. The room fell quiet again. This was not a ship that avoided battle. This was a ship that expected it. The human vessel finally reacted. Not with weapons. With movement. Its engines flared brighter, burning a deep orange instead of soft gold. The ship angled slightly, presenting its full armored front to the alien fleet. A posture. A challenge. They're inviting us to shoot, an officer said. The commander hesitated. 1,000-year-old ship. Alone. Outnumbered. And yet, it stood its ground. Fire a second shot, the commander ordered. Double the power. The second blast hit harder. The impact shook the human ship more visibly this time. Some outer plating cracked. Small fragments drifted away. But the core systems held. Power stayed stable. Engine stayed strong. Weapons, still offline. It's still flying, someone said quietly. The human ship began transmitting. Not words. Data. Ancient data formats poured into open channels, battle records, structural diagrams, damage reports. Centuries of combat history compressed into raw numbers. The alien system struggled to process it. "What is this?" the commander demanded. The technician stared in disbelief. "Commander, these are combat logs. This ship has survived orbital bombardments, fleet engagements, planet-side defense actions." Another officer's voice trembled. "Some of these battles predate our species' first spaceflight." The realization hit like a physical blow. This ship was not sent to win quickly. It was sent to outlast. The commander clenched his claws. "All ships, hold fire." The human vessel drifted closer, hull scarred but proud. Its lights flickered briefly, then stabilized again. Inside the ancient ship, systems older than empires adjusted quietly. Structural braces locked. Power routes shifted. Backup after backup stood ready. This ship had been built for long wars. Wars where help never came. Wars where survival was victory. The alien fleet, for the first time, did not know what to do. Because if this was humanity's weak ship, what did their strong ones look like? And deeper still, one terrifying question echoed in every mind. Why would humanity send something this old? Unless they knew it would survive? Inside the human ship, nothing felt dramatic. No alarms screamed. No crew shouted orders. Because there was no crew. The bridge was empty, lit only by soft white lights and ancient control panels. Dust floated in the air, untouched for years. Yet the ship was fully awake. Deep in its core, systems that were older than most star nations came online one by one. Doctrine, Last Light Protocol, active. The ship had been built in a time when humanity stood alone. Back then, Earth had no allies. No trade partners. No mercy from the galaxy. Humans learned early that help would not come. So they built ships that could fight alone. Ships that could survive without repair yards. Without resupply. Without hope. This vessel was one of them. Its artificial intelligence was not fast or clever by modern standards. It was calm. Patient. Trained through centuries of war data and real combat. It did not feel fear. It calculated endurance. Outside, the alien fleet watched the human ship drift closer. "Commander," an officer said carefully, "new internal signals detected. Subsystems activating across the hull." "What kind of subsystems?" the commander asked. The officer swallowed. "Structural reinforcement. Power routing. Manual weapon control layers." "Manual?" another officer asked, confused. "Yes. These systems don't rely on central control. They can operate independently if damaged." The commander's voice lowered. "Why would anyone design it that way?" No one answered. Because the answer was uncomfortable. Only a species that expected to be hit, again and again, would build something like this. The human ship rotated slowly, exposing its sides. Panels slid back, revealing old weapon ports sealed for centuries. They were not sleek. They were not elegant. They were thick. Heavy. Brutal. "These weapons are primitive," an officer said, trying to sound confident. "Mass drivers. Kinetic cannons." The technician shook his head. "Commander, these are not standard mass drivers." The first shot fired. There was no flash. No beam. Just a sudden impact. One alien destroyer's shield collapsed instantly. The next moment, its hull ruptured as a solid projectile tore through it, punching clean holes from front to back. The ship broke apart in silence. Shock froze the fleet. "That weapon ignored our shields," someone whispered. The AI inside the human ship adjusted firing angles. Second shot. Another ship lost power, its engines shredded by pure momentum. Armor designed for energy weapons failed against something that did not care about shields. These weapons are designed to kill anything, the commander realized slowly. Not just us. The human ship did not fire rapidly. It fired carefully. Every shot counted. Every hit disabled, never wasted. The alien fleet scattered, trying to regain distance. But the old human engines burned hotter now, pushing the ship forward with relentless force. It did not chase. It advanced. This doctrine, the technician muttered, scanning incoming data. These systems are named. Their labels, they are an old human standard. Read 1, the commander ordered. The technician hesitated. Then read aloud. If you cannot outgun them, outlast them. Another label scrolled by. Armor breaks. Endurance wins. The commander's claws trembled slightly. This was not a warship built for glory. It was built for survival. For long, grinding wars where the enemy grew tired first. The human ship transmitted a single line on open channels. Not a threat. Not a warning. Just a fact. This vessel was never meant to be impressive. The message ended. The alien fleet fell back, fear spreading through every command deck. They finally understood. This ship was old because it worked. Because it had survived. Because humanity never forgot what the galaxy once did to them. And if this was their forgotten doctrine, then the galaxy had made a terrible mistake waking it. The alien fleet broke formation. What had once been a wall of ships now turned into scattered groups, each captain trying to survive on their own. Engines flared. Jump drives charged. Panic moved faster than orders. The human ship did not rush. It kept advancing at the same slow speed. Like a storm that knew it would arrive eventually. Pull back. Increased distance, the Kelmer commander shouted. Too late. The old human ship adjusted its angle again. Heavy weapon ports locked into place. Internal braces tightened. Power flowed through ancient channels that had never failed. Another shot fired. A cruiser lost its shields instantly. The solid projectile smashed through the bridge section. The ship went dark, drifting helplessly as its crew scrambled for escape pods. The galaxy watched in shock. This was not modern warfare. No elegant beams. No tactical displays full of light. Just raw force. The alien fleet fired back together this time. Beams, plasma, missiles, everything they had. The human ship was hit from every direction. Its hull burned. Plates cracked. Chunks of armor flew into space. But the ship did not slow. Internal systems shifted automatically. Damaged sections sealed off. Power rerouted. Backup after backup took over. Inside the ship, the AI logged damage calmly. Structural loss, acceptable. Core integrity, stable. Mission status, unchanged. This thing should be dead, an officer yelled. The commander stared at the display, his voice hollow. It doesn't need to win. It only needs to remain. The human ship fired again. This time, not at a ship. At space itself. A spread of kinetic rounds tore through the battlefield, forcing alien vessels to scatter or collide. One destroyer clipped another while dodging, both spiraling out of control. Order collapsed. Fear replaced command. Several ships finally jumped away, abandoning the fight completely. Others tried, but failed, as the human ship targeted their jump systems with brutal accuracy. One by one, engines died. The old ship moved forward through the wreckage. Silent. Scarred. Unstoppable. Then the human vessel transmitted again. A wider signal this time. Open frequency. Every nearby system could hear it. The voice was calm. Old. Mechanical. This ship is not here to conquer. The alien commander swallowed. It is here to remind. Images followed the message. Old star maps. Burned colonies. Destroyed human worlds from centuries past. Names of extinct settlements. Lost fleets. The truth hit hard. This ship was not an attack force. It was a memory. A warning that humanity had survived being hunted. And learned. The human ship fired its last shot, not to kill, but to stop. A final alien battleship lost power and drifted, weapons offline. Silence spread across the battlefield. The human vessel powered down its weapons. Its engines dimmed back to their soft golden glow. The message ended with one final line. You laughed because you forgot. The remaining alien ships did not fire again. They backed away slowly. Very slowly. For the first time in generations, the galaxy felt small. Because if this was one old ship, if this was what humanity sent when it wanted to be gentle, then whatever waited behind it was something no one wanted to meet. The human ship turned away from the battlefield. Damaged. Scarred. Victorious. And as it vanished into the dark, one truth spread faster than fear across the stars. Humanity's weakest ships were never weak. They were just patient. The battlefield slowly went quiet. Broken ships drifted in silence. Wreckage reflected distant starlight. Emergency signals echoed weakly across space, unanswered. The ancient human ship moved away from the destroyed fleet. It did not chase. It did not celebrate. It simply left. Inside the damaged hull, systems began slow repair cycles. Ancient machines worked patiently, just as they had done for centuries. Cracks sealed. Power lines rerouted. The ship healed itself the way it always had. This was nothing new to it. Far behind, on the Kelmer flagship, the commander sat motionless. His fleet was broken. His pride was gone. He replayed the final human message again. This ship is not here to conquer. It is here to remind. What did we forget? He asked quietly. No one answered. So he ordered a deep historical search. Every archive. Every forgotten record. Every old war report. What they found terrified them. 1,000 years ago, humanity had been hunted. Stronger empires attacked Earth's early colonies. Human fleets were small. Weak by galactic standards. Entire worlds were burned because humans were considered insignificant. But humanity did not vanish. They learned. They stopped building ships for beauty. They stopped building ships for speed. They built ships to survive. Ships that could fight without supply lines. Ships that could repair themselves. Ships that could operate alone for centuries. This old vessel was one of the first. Not famous. Not powerful by modern standards. Just impossible to kill. The Kelmer commander finally understood the truth. Humanity's greatest strength was not technology. It was memory. They never forgot what the galaxy once did to them. And they never forgave carelessness. Across the stars, the story spread fast. Merchants whispered it. Admirals warned it. Pilots feared it. The galaxy learned a new rule. Never judge a human ship by its age. Weeks later, in a quiet system far from the battlefield, the ancient vessel met a small human fleet. Newer ships surrounded it carefully, almost respectfully. One captain spoke softly over the channel. You're damaged. We can take over from here. The old ship transmitted back. Mission complete. Nothing more. The fleet escorted it home. Back to a hidden dock. Back to silence. Back to rest. But the galaxy would never rest the same way again. Because now they knew. If humanity ever sent something old, something slow, something alone, it was not weakness. It was a warning. And next time, humanity might not choose to remind. They might choose to end.